It is another week, and that can mean only one thing. It is another episode of the Protect You podcast, live from inside studio Triple J. Welcome on in, folks. Jake Wilson, as always, alongside Jay Mickens. We got another jam-packed episode where we talk about things like recruiting and some new members joining the Protect You crew, as well as an exclusive interview that we got from one of the pillar members of the Protect You crew, talking about a fantastic game that he had over the weekend, as well as some interesting stories and some developments coming out of the recruiting circles, Jay. So we got a lot to get through in this one, but starting off here, man, I'm just excited to get through this because we had another very jam-packed weekend.
No, we did, man. And, you know, like you said, brother, just a packed show. It's going to be a fun day. And I love the fact that, you know, we are getting to show our Protect You crew members, right, like reporting the news, Jay.
Yes.
So I love how this podcast has just evolved into, you know, all we got to do is just follow the storylines and then report the news, right? And we're here for it. But, very fun, exciting weekend. I guess I'll kickstart it off. You know, thanks to Jalen Mickens, right? I've been blessed to get to see different parts of the nation, right? Last week we talked about me being in the Philadelphia area, and this week I got to go to the great state of Washington.
There you go.
I learned a lot about the state of Washington. One thing, it does rain a lot. Me being in that Spokane and Pullman, Washington area, and there's a lot of solar panels there. And the locals said that they have to do that because they don't get a lot of sunlight. So they got to generate their own.
You got to make the most of it.
They got to get their own energy.
All right.
On that. So that was pretty neat. Probably should have sent that video to Computer Jesus because I did get a picture of all those things, right? Just spinning and spinning. But yeah, you know, got to go see Washington State University. The locals were great there. More of a basketball town. You know, they cared more about watching UConn play against, I think, BYU in basketball versus watching Texas and Georgia.
Interesting.
So we were kind of having to fight a little bit over the TV in the local tavern right there on campus. But, you know, great experience. And, you know, just another state that I don't know, Jake, if I honestly would say I had plans on going to if it wasn't for football taking me there. So.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I had a very lax weekend by comparison to you. Took things easy. I definitely took some time to recoup after the last couple of weeks where we've had a lot of action going down, some late night Zoom calls with a lot of the new members that we're going to get to in this episode. On top of, I'm still feeling just a little bit of that grogginess from those trips that we made to Louisiana and Florida, which I know that was a while ago, but man,
shout out to our guy,
shout out to Andy. Shout out to Andy for treating us right. But then
from Croatia.
But then Jay, I woke up this morning to multiple text messages, and I always hear my phone going off, and I'm like, all right, what's going down in the work group chats? This time it was the family group chat woke me up this morning, and it was my dad's side of the family, and I'm like, what on earth are we talking about? I go in there and they found, there's a little bit of family lore to those of y'all that know me. They found the episode that my family was on of the Family Feud back in 1977.
What?
Yes. Back when my dad's side of the family was known as the Carrasco family.
Okay.
Deep in Southern California, but they found the episode.
Nice.
They still haven't found the episode where they won. We're still looking for, I believe it's February 23rd, 1977.
Okay.
We're still looking for the episode where they won Fast Money, but they found the second episode where they came on and returned.
Wow.
So, interesting family story and family development came down, not over the weekend, but definitely this morning, and I knew I had to shout that out because we've been looking for that one for a while.
Yeah. Okay.
They have my grandmother, Maggie, she has the check that they won still framed up in her house.
Yeah.
With the picture of all of them up on the set right before Richard Dawson got to them.
Okay, nice, Jay.
But yes, that was my morning this morning.
Okay, nice, brother. So it wasn't Protect You group text, it was the family group text.
Yes, okay. Absolutely.
Hey, and then what about you, Computer Jesus? What did you do this weekend of interest?
Well, most of my family was out of town. My son was in Bands of America national competition.
There you go.
Woodlands got 5th in the nation. I personally was filming a TV show in Houston. I think it's called, or he's naming every episode. It's called You're Invited. So we were out there filming. I was running audio for that. So that's about it.
Okay, man. Look, I know the fans would love to see Computer Jesus' face. One day, guys, we'll get him to come out. Maybe we can do like a Wilson, right, from the show Home Improvement, just kind of cover half of his face and only show his eyes. But no, man, we love our producer here, man, and he is a man of mystery. Though.
Absolutely.
We're blessed to get to see him, but the rest of the world does not get to see Computer Jesus. But he's one of the best producers that any podcast host could ask for.
Yes, absolutely. And speaking of Justin, too, if you head on over to the YouTube channel, be sure to drop a subscribe while you're over there, because you can also drop your questions or any other little tidbits you have in the YouTube live chat. Justin might just read it out. So with that said, Jay, and with the invitation now extended out to the great people that are watching this, because I think there's one family that we know for sure is watching every single week. That's the Coleman family.
The Coleman.
It's the Coleman family and it's the Kinney family are two of the best support groups that Protect You has had to offer. And speaking of the Coleman, Samara got in some very critical action for TCU volleyball over the weekend, in which they took on the Iowa State Cyclones. TCU has been battling through a really tough Big 12 schedule.
Yeah.
And Samara took advantage of it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was nasty. Woo-wee. I mean, dude, the elevation, the spike, I just love watching this clip. Yeah, we can watch this again. I mean, it's a lot of anger in this spike. Let me just put it that way. That was one of those deals of like, hey, I'm a true freshman, but I can ball. Like, I'm here. I am her. H-E-R in all capital letters. TCU knows it. The nation knows it. Samara Coleman is one of the best volleyball players in the collegiate sport and in the game right now. And every time she gets her opportunity, she does nothing but succeed, right? She is one that will never let you down. She's going to do what she needs to do. And we're blessed to be representing her here at Protection United, the first lady out there doing her thing. And once again, Samara, and I think this is like her fourth time on ball, and you get the call, Jake, if I'm not mistaken. But Samara's balling. Continue to ball, girl. We're going to continue to call. We're going to get her on. And, you know, what she's doing, Jake, is a little bit unprecedented, because not for just being a true freshman and playing volleyball, but it's also being able to help a program that historically has not been ranked in the top 25, right? And I know they're on a little slump right now, but when Samara's out on the court, it seems like that she's like the slump buster, right? Going from early in the season with, you know, the terrible injury to her other teammate, and she was asked to step up a little sooner than maybe some expected. I know the Colemans were expecting it. We were expecting it here at Protection United. However, we get it, right? We're not the only decision makers. You and I don't have any decisions to make. But all we know is that we support our guys here, and Samara's been doing her thing. And now, you know, we see, right, coming in, and she's holding it down, and we can't be more proud of her.
Absolutely. 5 kills, 1 ace, and a dig in that matchup against Iowa State. Congratulations, Samara, for continuing to keep up the excellent work. And now we move over to the collegiate football realm, where Sean DeBose has been putting in some very critical work out of Houston Christian, where Jay, he has made a name for himself both on and off of the field, but it's on the field where the hard-hitting linebacker and D-end is really showing his stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just look at that monster. I mean, just getting through, killing the offensive lineman, and just the aggression when he gets to the ball. I mean, love how he keeps his hands extended even at the linebacker position. And he's been blessed to play a lot of spots for Houston Christian. I mean, he's so good and so talented that they actually are having him play at some inside linebacker, some outside linebacker. He's also playing in the 3 technique on occasion, that Lawrence Taylor type linebacker where you just blitz every play position. I mean, they're playing them all over the field because they're recognizing the talent that that young man here possesses here with Sean. But, I mean, he is making plays all over the field, and another young man that we know has a very bright future.
Absolutely. 5 tackles and a pass deflection, as you saw there in the team's most recent matchup against East Texas A&M. Sean, we're rooting for you. We know you're going to be doing some very special things when you make it to that next level and when you make that jump up to the proper D1 ranks where you belong.
Exactly.
And speaking of proper D1 ranks too, Marco Beltran, one of our class of 2026 guys, Jay, has been making some very big moves, including a stellar performance in the bi-district round for College Park High School, where he finished with a stat line of an interception, 3 tackles, and 33 return yards for the Cavaliers in a dominant victory in a 45-6 win in the bi-district round and a bi-district championship for the College Park Cavaliers. And not only that, Jay, but this morning, Marco finally
Breaking
made
news.
his announcement. The time has come, and Marco Beltran will be joining, drum roll please, the New Mexico Lobos.
Yeah, man, so happy for Marco. This is a young man that I personally have known since he was 7 years old. I was his first ever tackle football coach, and to get to watch him grow, and now I go from being the coach, mentor, to now getting to actually be, part of his recruiting service, right? And soon to be his agent once he, gets to the college ranks. But, Marco came to us, and we knew that he had the talent. We knew that Marco deserved to be on a bigger stage. He had some smaller offers. He comes to Protection United. And once again, right, everything here is relationship based because we do things right by people, regardless if they're a coach, a general manager, or a player. We were able to connect him with the New Mexico, right? We have another young man, Chris Gant Jr., that is there that we helped get from the transfer portal over to New Mexico. And once again, they loved how we brought them a top-notch athlete from a great family. And they also knew that we didn't try to play hardball in regards to negotiations. So in turn, when we tell them Marco Beltran plays the same position, a couple of years younger, Marco Beltran also comes from a great family because mom and dad are excellent parents, Jake. But then also, too, the same work ethic, that same grit, and he's a freaking baller. So in turn, we got another guy that we can continue to feed to your program, and just they love the connection. Marco went there on the OV, and everything that I said about that young man and his parents came to fruition. And New Mexico basically were begging Marco to commit right there on the spot. Did not want him to leave the mountains, Jake, without committing. But so happy for Marco. Cannot continue to wait to watch him ball out as he's still got a little bit more high school football to play here and as they try to compete for a state championship. But Marco Beltran is going to be a guy that I know is going to continuously show, right? And it's only the beginning for this young man. And I know when it's all said and done and his story is complete, people are going to come back to this podcast and be like, yeah, I see what Jay was saying.
Yes, and speaking of, too, College Park will take on Cypress Lakes on Friday, the 21st, in the area round for a potential of one of the deepest runs in College Park school history. So we'll be looking forward to that.
I'm still mad that we didn't get to see Marco against Cass Farrell. I wanted to see two of our Protect You crew guys meet in the hole.
Not only that, three of them, because you're talking about Marco Beltran and Jordan White out there for College Park.
True, but I guess meet Cash without every receiver, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but yes, 100%. But you're right, though. Cash could run a sweep, and we could have saw Jordan White and Cash. I just wanted to protect you crew. That would have been nasty.
Yes,
anyway.
But hey, Jordan and Marco, get out there and get some revenge against Cy Lakes for us because they sent Cash Farrell and Magnolia packing. So get out there and give them what's for.
Yeah.
And we round this out, Jay, with a special development inside of Ball and Get the Call. We've done an excellent job in trying to, or at least we feel we've done an excellent job in trying to highlight and make sure that the athletes of Protection United, the members of the crew, get the respect that they deserve for the performances that they give. And Jay, one guy had a very special performance and an opportunity to further prove himself and why he deserves to be a Georgia Bulldog. We are, of course, talking about Justin Williams, who got out there against the University of Texas and put up 4.5 total tackles, despite still splitting minutes. But Jay, he's going to get a lot more opportunities here. Injuries obviously open up some doors for guys, and Justin has that opportunity here. And not only that, Jay, we were able to get a couple interviews in with him as well, and an exclusive moment for Ball and Get the Call in Protection United. Computer Jesus, you are good to roll the footage as we welcome in Justin Williams. So welcome on in, folks, to an exclusive interview with none other than Protect You pillar athlete Justin Williams, coming off of a huge win against the Texas Longhorns, one that, for all intents and purposes, Justin, has locked y'all into a spot into the SEC championship game. Obviously, you need some things to go right, but it's looking pretty solid for you and the rest of the Bulldogs. Just tell us how you're feeling right now coming off of that huge win.
I'm feeling great. As far as like having the mindset of like next game, I feel like we've already moved on to that. You have fun, you celebrate 24 hours, but now it's time to focus on Charlotte. So we got a little fun, but as far as moving on to this week, we're very focused on what we have coming up this week.
I love that, Justin. And man, hey, and I love seeing number 19 flying all over the field, right? I mean, had a tackle for loss, right? I think you had about 4 solo tackles. Hey man, talk about, when you get on that field, how do you let people know when J Dub is on that gridiron?
I think it's just taking the like my opportunity. When my name is called, just being prepared. All the things that we do preparing for the week, just film study, practicing hard, running to the football during practice. Just being ready when my name is called. And unfortunately, this happened. CJ got hurt and stuff like that. My name was called, and I just take advantage of my opportunity. But extremely blessed for sure.
Oh,
And I
I
know
love
too
that.
that Georgia defense is incredibly deep. You're talking about guys that are 5 stars and were always the big man on campus, regardless of where they came from. When you talk about trying to take the most and make the most of those opportunities that you're given, where do you feel like that mindset comes from inside of that locker room of being the next guy up and then doing everything that you can to prove your worth?
I think it just comes from work ethic. Sorry, work ethic
Good.
for sure. You train all your whole life to be put in those situations, and it'd be kind of it sounds dumb, but it'd be kind of stupid to not take advantage of the opportunities when you get those. So you don't really get those a lot. So when you get that opportunity, you just gotta go out and have fun and just remember like being a kid and just going to places like football and all those memories and stuff like that. Just having fun with it. You can't really take it too serious. You know what I'm saying?
I hear
Yeah,
you.
gotcha. Yeah. Hey, and so just talk to us a little bit about going from your freshman year to now your sophomore year. Like has the game slowed down for you? Do you see any differences? Is there anything that sophomore Justin would love to tell freshman Justin if things could have gone a little bit better for him?
Uh, Definitely coming into sophomore year. I've definitely learned a lot more. That leadership role is definitely taken over in my mind. I feel like last year I was definitely, the new guy, the newbie. I was trying to figure out everything. I was so inexperienced, but being here now and everything just feels a lot slower. I mean, the game has slowed down a lot. Last year, my mind was always running. I didn't know what I had to do. I didn't know what my play was, stuff like that. But now it's a lot easier, I would say, and just the preparation in itself. Like now, I'm doing more film study, doing more things that I when I was a freshman I wasn't doing that. And I could be honest about that. I wasn't really doing that stuff, and just learning from CJ Allen. CJ Allen's been my biggest help when it comes to like on field, off the field stuff, and Raylan Wilson, like all the older guys have really helped me a lot. And I'll just tell myself, my younger self, to not worry about everything. I'm a big worrier when it comes to like, am I going to do this right? Am I going to do this right? Am I going to perform how I want to perform? And just tell myself that everything's going to be okay. And just know that you work really hard to be here. So just enjoy the moments that you can, for sure.
I'd love to hear that, man, because Georgia's been that powerhouse program, not just in the SEC, but especially nationally too. When you talk about the amount of people that go out and watch those type of games, does that pressure ever feel like a little too much to you, or does it just come naturally at this point?
It comes naturally. Coach Smart does a really great job of making us prepared during practice. The speakers are louder than the game sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. The speakers at practice are louder than what we hear in the crowd. I'm not gonna lie. So I just learned to drown those things out. Like the crowd doesn't really faze me anymore. I feel like when I was a freshman, it definitely did, but now it's just like another thing, just not to worry about for sure.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, and Justin, and we know what you've been doing on the football field, man, making a big name for yourself. But you also making a name off the field as well, brother. Man, your TikToks have gone viral, bro. We even showed one of them, or a few of them, I should say, on last week's episode. But what? And then we also see when you're on the field and you do your thing, man. You're posing, you're getting your other guys engaged from the locker room to the bathrooms, the hotel rooms, bro. Like, talk to us about like what's the inspiration behind that, and what could you tell us about something that most people might not know about Justin Williams?
My TikToks just come from the ability to have fun. I feel like I've always been a guy that just wants to have fun. You have to know your balance. I mean, you're not gonna see me post no TikTok if we catch a L. Like I'm not gonna do that. But if we catch a dub, I'm definitely gonna post a TikTok because at the end of the day, it's fun. You have to treat it as fun. And you started playing the sport for a reason, so remember that. And I feel like my TikToks are a big reason about that. And just something about me is just that I'm a very like personality guy. Like I want to say hi to you. I want to like give you a hug if I'm with you. Like I want to meet people. I want to like I'm a very outgoing person is what I'm trying to say. So just like I feel like I show that in my TikTok. So that's like another version of myself, and I just love to express that to other people for sure.
Yeah, no,
And
I
it does
love that
well
though.
too, man, because you're talking a lot too about those brand opportunities too. It seems like every single photo shoot that you've been a part of, it's always that big bright smile is the first thing that comes through during those shoots. Where do you feel like that personality aspect of you comes from, right? Where you're just always been such a positive guy, regardless of what situation you're put in. Where do you feel like that stems from?
I would definitely say my mom. My mom is a very like I get her my smile from her. She always says that. Whenever watching this, yeah, I get it from you, whatever. But I would definitely say that side of me just comes from like where I grew up and like how I grew up. My brothers have always been like a biggest help to me, and like anytime I did good on the field, there's always like bringing the energy to me. So I just feel like I need to do that to everybody else and just bring that to the world because the world can be a lot of dark things, and I just want to be a light to the world for sure.
Yeah, no, I
Love to
love
hear
that,
that.
Justin. And we know that you're a big man, in your faith, right? As well. Talk to us a little bit about the campaign that you got going on right now. God is a G, man. I love that T-shirt design. Love that you partnered up with someone that has same aspiration, the same beliefs as yourself, man. I don't know if you know this or not, but your shirt is the highest grossing selling shirt out of their whole entire company combined, bro. But talk to us still, Justin, because it seems like there's a movement that's happening with that shirt.
Uh, my agent, obviously, Jay, he hit me up and he's like, "You want to be a part of the company?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." Like this shirt is amazing. Like I look at the shirt and I'm like, "This is hard. I know this is gonna boom. Like everybody's gonna love this." And then I did like a little trial poll on my Snapchat, and I was like, "Would y'all buy this? Like, are y'all gonna feel this or not?" Everybody was commenting fire emoji, like drop it. And then when it dropped, I saw my friends copping some. My um the people I go to school with copping stuff. Like I'm like, dang, like this thing is jumping, and I'm really putting the opportunity. I'm very blessed to have the opportunity to spread my faith and spread like clothing as well, because that's a very prominent thing nowadays with the younger generation for sure. It's clothes, and I'm so blessed and thankful to be a part of it. And it was such a great movement, for sure. Still moving right now, honestly.
Yeah, no, bro. And it's funny you mentioned that because there are a lot of people that wear things that might not be the best message being presented, but talk to us just a little bit, Justin, about like your faith and what does it mean to you and how do you pour that, into others?
My faith means everything to me. Like, if you know my testimony, you know my story. Like, without God, I would not be here today. And just having that mindset when I go into everyday life, whether that's a practice, whether that's like anything going on in my life, I always try to bring God into it. Like, I talk to God just like a normal relationship, normal human. Like, I'll be in my head, you be thinking like, what is Justin thinking about? Talking to God about stuff. So, God just means my faith just means everything to me, honestly, and it's brought me to a point where I'm blessed to play football. But I'm not only blessed to play football; I'm blessed to share what God has done for me and just encourage the younger generation to pursue the, their relationship with Christ as well too. Sorry.
That's awesome, man. Hey,
No,
it's
you're
no need
good,
to
man.
apologize, bro. Trust me, man. Hey, what you're doing and what you're spreading to the world, Justin, is great, man. And last thing here, man, how can somebody get connected, right? If they want to go get a shirt, God is a G, or they want to do anything, to help support, like tell us a little bit about how they can get to that.
You can honestly hit me up directly if my Instagram has my number in it, or I have a link in my Instagram where you can just click and go to the website itself, or you can just text me on Snapchat. I'm a very open guy. I'm always on Snapchat, or you can hit me on messages, or even just call me if you want to. I'll just be down to talk or whatever, and you just buy a shirt there, whatever you need from me, I'm there.
That's awesome, man.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, Justin, you've been blessed with a lot of great talents and you've been taking full advantage of it. Thank you so much for blessing us with your presence,
I
for
appreciate,
coming out and doing this interview, man. It truly does mean the most.
I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Hey, I can't wait to go and watch you ball out. We'll be at the college football playoff.
Yes,
Hope
sir.
we
Yes,
go. We got my ticket ready.
yes sir.
Hey,
Thank
thanks,
y'all.
Justin.
I appreciate it.
Obviously, a lot
Yeah,
of fun in that interview that we
so
had
much
with
fun,
Justin.
bro.
Such a bright personality.
I
Just
know.
love talking to Justin.
Yeah,
It's
and I love everything that he had to say. I mean, you talk about such a well-rounded young man, Jake.
yes,
When he's a dog on the football field, right? Then
in more ways than one.
correct. Then yeah, I like that, right? No pun intended to the Georgia Bulldogs, but then off the field, you got to see that he's silly and fun and just a guy that just loves life. But then he also takes us down the path of showing how strong he is in his faith. And, you know, what more well-rounded can you be of a human being, right? To where, he's balanced everywhere, right? And, the fact that we also help Justin in regards to everything from the financial side of the world, from us being his agents, right? As well as also helping, guide him to the right financial advisors, to the right CPAs, the right tax attorneys, to the right, bookkeepers, everything that we are doing for Justin. And you see how disciplined he is, right? I mean, he's not a young man that is out just blowing the money the moment that he gets it. And I can tell based off of his faith and his personality and his discipline that he shows on and off the field, it just makes sense, right? Of who Justin Williams is. And I just think that was awesome that we were able to provide the audience just what Justin is away from the football field. I think a lot of people get caught up in between them white lines and on those ABC Saturday night, primetime matchups. But just to get to see him with the pads off and seeing that, hey, there's a real human being underneath these pads, and it's pretty amazing.
Yes. I love talking with him too, because like I said, just such a great personality and just a guy that when he says something, he says it with such pizzazz that it's like, you got to believe what he's saying because it comes from such a genuine person. So we're very excited to have done that interview, not only for obviously being able to reach out and talk to Justin after what was a huge win for the Georgia Bulldogs, but also for the potential of opening the door to other athletes that we might have on here on the show, of bringing them on, whether that's live here in the studio or like you saw there of those pre-recorded interviews. It's something that we've been looking forward to and something that we've been looking to try and expand on here at Protection United. So if anybody comes knocking or we reach out to you, just know that it's for a good reason. We're trying to get you out there to as many people as absolutely possible. And speaking of, to Jay, to people that we're putting on blast, that we're getting out there to as many audience members, as many coaches, and as many scouts as possible, you and I had some very fruitful talks last week with some athletes that were looking to acquire our services and that were trusting us to go forward on the journey together, Jay.
Yeah, exactly, Jake. And, getting to see how, these new people are starting to come. And look, before we get to these new announcements, I just want to say, like, it's just been awesome, right, for you and I to get to see, because when you go from having to, let's say, go hunting, right, and I'm not trying to say that we're getting complacent here or lazy or expect people to come to us, right? We know that there's, as we're judging and not say judging, as we are interviewing them, they're interviewing us, right? It's a two-way street. But it's just nice that because of the great name that Protection United has started to truly build, and not only in our here community, but now kind of across the nation, now we're starting to get people that are reaching out to us. I mean, I'm waking up every morning and seeing DMs and people are like, hey, here's my film, grade me, and can you meet with me and my parents, and we just been blessed to be able to now be able to not only slow down, but we also are able to find the right people to fit. And I think that is the part here that I love, is that we're finding athletes that want this as much or as more than what we wanted for them. And that's the way it needs to be.
Yes.
And then also bringing highly intelligent parents that understand that, hey, I'm good at what I do, but I also know that I'm not good at what I don't do and what I don't know. You guys know this world. You guys have provided a successful format and a layout of how things need to go. And here we are.
Yes.
Right. And so I just love that everyone that we are signing, and it seems like also in the future, we're getting to truly vet out and find the ones that are really, truly Protection United material.
Yes. And speaking of that, of the person in the family that check all of the boxes for us, we start out here with none other than Dawson Campbell. This is another one of the guys, Jay, that you pointed out to us and was like, Logan, our talent scout here at Protection United, you got to check this guy out, because this guy is another sort of flying under the radar type of talent, where a class of 2027 guy and a safety out of Magnolia West, this guy needs to be on way more radars than he currently is.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, sometimes, you're playing for a program that is not having a lot of success, and you can get overlooked, right? Your games are not highly watched. You just kind of go through your normal 10-game season, and then it's a wrap. But this is a young man that, let's just say, if there's ever a true saying of a diamond in the rough, it would be this guy. I mean, look at that hit. The fact that he could come and play free safety, but he can come down and play in the box, right? I think he transitions to more of a strong safety, maybe an outside linebacker, right? On a collegiate level. But I mean, this is truly a ball hawk. I mean, this kid can do it all. Dawson is a young man that I remember when we broke his film down. Yes, yours completely right. I was like, talent scout team, go do everything you can and come back and tell me that I'm not missing something here. But the way that this young man is playing the game of football, his IQ, his intelligence, right here, you see him in pass coverage protection here. I mean, and look at that. Just another great deflection. Obviously, the earlier clip showed a nasty interception that was in the end zone that stopped the touchdown from happening. But like even right here, right? He's, 5 yards in the end zone, recognizes to come down here, and look at that. I mean, look at the closing speed on that. I mean, he closed 10 yards within a couple seconds, right? That's what you want, right? When you have a kid that can do all things. And then, of course, right there, pass coverage. Love the fact that he's playing number 4, old number. Used to be one of my faves, right? Jalen used to rock that 4, so 4 is special, true and dear to my heart. But going against a predominantly run team here, and look at this, right? Staying home backside, waiting for the cutback, and then the cleanup. That's one of the things that you don't even get graded on, Jake, is the discipline, right? Of course, there's EJ, right? One of our Protect You crew members at center, right? And then you see him, right? Getting off the block and then making the tackle right there on the running back against one of the better teams here in the Houston area. I mean, Dawson Campbell is a dude.
Yes, and not only one that has great footage and great tape too, but he's also got a great support system. Mom and dad were both very involved when we were in on that Zoom call they understood the process of it, right? Dad had great coaching experience, right, and he understood what it take on the development stage of it. But now it's up to Protection United to work on the promotional stages of it, working with him on that interview etiquette, cleaning up his social media profile so that way all the great information that he has, because not only that, Jay, he's 6'3", 185.
Yes, the measurables are there.
Yes.
Right, the measurables are there. And
but you got to make sure that that's front and center.
Correct. And what I love the most about meeting with the Campbells, right, and big shout out to Dallas.
Yes.
Stepmom. Hey, look here. I'm just going to throw this out here now. If there's ever an award for who's the most supportive stepmom of all time, Dallas would always be in the finals. Every year. And maybe some years she's on the panel with the gold, silver, and bronze all by herself. Because I had never seen a stepmom be so fired up. However, you look at a situation with Dawson, right? The measurables are there, the eye test, but you hit it on it, Jake, just a few seconds ago in regards to understanding. And this is what, was really impressed with his father was that he looked at it like, hey, Jay, this is a different world. I understand that social media can help get kids recruited, and I don't know this. You guys know it. And you're right, Jake. They wanted to come in and get our full recruiting service packages because they understood that, hey, my son's got one more year of football left, and we got one more camp season left, right? We need to make sure that we capitalize. And so they took it from the standpoint of we lock in for the next 12 months, and let's see where we land, right? And so I'm telling you now, Dawson Campbell will be on the radar of a lot of schools around the nation because once we get done with having him set up his camp schedule, continue to help promote him, getting him to the right camps, making sure that he's not camping just to be camping. And then last but not least, using these relationships that we built with these college coaches and making sure that they're getting Dawson on his list. And it's already starting to happen. This Saturday, Dawson will be at Rice University, got a game day invite. And all it was just me reaching out to my guy at Rice. Big shout out to Chad Johnson, one of my good buddies, as well as a guy that has been amazing in regards to building college coaches' relationships when he was a high school coach. And now he's on that side and he still has the relationships. And, at a great university, obviously, got to have a good GPA. We already know Dawson meets that criteria and can actually get in at Rice. But we sent the film, we told him about him, and instantly Chad was like, yeah, tell this guy I want to see him this Saturday. So once again, it's already starting to happen for Dawson. And that's just the beginning for this young man because once again, when you got talent, right, and we keep the main thing here, Jake, we understand that the talent is the driving force here, right? If you're not talented, it's going to be tough to sell. This isn't a business of selling ice to Eskimo, right? You got to be a dude. However, there's a lot of dudes in the nation. There's a million kids that play high school football. We're at the part now, Jake, to where we're trying to help get our guys not only through that tough line, but get to the top of the lines at some of these universities. And I feel very confident we're going to do that for Dawson.
I'm saying, speaking of too, a lot of guys that have been picking up some traction. And another connective piece that came to us, obviously Rod Kenny. You gotta show love to Rod Kenny when he brings you another talented guy like he has here for us.
Love it.
Because we continue to work that Fort Bend Travis connection, and we bring on another wide receiver and a class of 2026 guy in the form of David Brewer the fourth, or as we call him around here, Brewer.
Yeah.
This man, I mean, Jay, I was ecstatic when we were watching some of the highlight reels for this guy.
Well, I mean, the first one, Jake, we're there.
Yes.
Like, if y'all want to take your eyes to the bottom of the left part of the end zone here, you're going to see we saw this live, and I was instantly, you're going to see he scores here, and I don't know if they can see us fully, but we were in the back of that end zone, and I remember going over to Rod Kenny being like, who's that guy? Get him, Rod. Connect us to him. And I'm so glad that he did. I mean, you see that this young man has the measurables. He's got the speed, great route runner. I mean, even off here, I mean, he pushes the corner, opens up his hip, and then look at that. I mean, the corner and safety got burnt. The third safety doesn't know what's happening, all because of a great route runner, him finding the blind spots of the defender and then doing what he needs to do. There, of course, obviously making a great catch, sideline, showing late hands, right? And for the ones that don't understand what that means, is not letting the DB know that the ball is there until it's there. And that takes a lot of skill and a lot of confidence in yourself. Of course, here, right, just another crossing route, and then him just showing the speed to where by the time the defense recognizes it, he gone. Right here, right? Of course, he runs another skinny post. Great ball by the quarterback, but still, I'm telling you, Jake, it takes cojones to be able to catch a ball when you got a DB on your hip, and then you also got a safety that's coming down to smack you in your mouth. And David Brewer has shown that. Brewer, as we like to call him here, at Protect You, man. We're honored to be representing this young man. 2026, you know, he's a guy that have already have interest, right? You know, we actually were on the phone with University of Baylor just last week talking about him and trying to get everyone to recognize that, hey, most thought he was off the market, you know, and that's just where us coming in, Jake, and providing clarity, cleaning out the clouds and the smoke, right? And presenting things with clear eyes and full hearts, right? A little shout out to Friday Night Lights on that. But being able to show that, hey, this guy's here, we rep him. Jake, you talk about it all the time, even on our consultations of, wait, y'all represent that guy? Where it happened, right? I'm on the phone with the GM at Baylor, and he's like, wait, y'all represent Brewer? Yeah. I thought he was committed. No, he's open. Let me get this to my guys, Jay. Call me on Tuesday afternoon. So at the end of this podcast, take a wild guess who I'm calling. Right? You know, and it's going to be 5 other schools that have already reached out because they're starting to see and recognize, because he's a 26 guy. I couldn't wait, Jake, for us to make the announcement because it wouldn't be fair to the young man, right? Yes. And I needed to get that out. So hope you Computer Jesus aren't upset with me. I know we like to break the news here first.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Because on paper, too, this is another great guy that has that tangible asset of him, right? He's got great size to him. He is already a rated 3-star talent out of the wide receiver position. So this would be another guy that a lot of schools, I feel like, will be falling over themselves to try and get a piece of, especially, too, when you're talking about those programs that are up on the rise of a Baylor University that are finding their way in the Big 12. Cal is also somewhere on that list too, where you're talking about those big schools that are making those strides. Yes, schools that are reaching that upper echelon of their conferences and might need a piece like a David Brewer to get to where they want to be in the promised land of the conference championships, and with the expansion of the college football playoff as well, maybe some college football playoff action.
Yeah, exactly. And where the game is transitioning to, I mean, it's more of a passing league, and receivers are more important now that we're starting to see, even, you know, in regards to running backs.
Yes.
Right? You know, not saying that the running game has completely been diluted. However, you know, it's not like how it used to be, right? This is not our dad's football world anymore, Jay. This is more of a passing league, and you need receivers, and you need guys that not only can catch a football and can run great routes, but understand the game of football. And Brewer understands it at such a high level. He knows how to read a secondary. He understands the difference between reading a zone defense versus going against a man-to-man defense. He also understands the concepts of blocking, right? You know, that was one of the things that we probably haven't highlighted the most part about, is that when he doesn't have the football, he's looking for action, and he goes and finds it. And lastly, I mean, just another young man like everyone here we represent at Protection United. he's not a guy that's going to get you fired. If anything, coach is going to end up getting you an extension, right? So guys might want to really take him seriously. And, I highly and truly expect a lot of phone calls, in regards of trying to get his services.
Yes, and we flip the switch back on over to the defensive side for the last but certainly not least member of the Rising Stars here joining the Protect You crew. We've been further planting our flag up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area because, Jay, we got a guy out of All Saints Episcopal in the form of Kingston Byer. Big body defensive lineman in the class of 2027 that's got some great footage that we'll start rolling to you now.
Yeah, I mean, look, first of all, man, just another great young man, coming, to us via our guy, JJ. Shout out to the Young Bulls. But yeah, Kingston, look at that. I mean, he's just showing, woo. And I love the fist pump after the play. I mean, you talk about the whole high motor, and we can use all the cliches we want. There's no cliche with this young man. I mean, he truly loves, breathes football. I mean, look at that. I mean, he gets so excited after every play. He has zero quit in him, too. I have yet to see a play where he is taken off. And we've graded whole games, not just hiding behind highlights, right, with this young man. But this 2027 athlete is somebody that is going to help a lot of defenses. I mean, as you can see, he's great at that 3 technique. He could also be an edge rusher as well. And with that speed and the athleticism, the length of that young man, he could play pretty much all over. And the thing I also like about him, Jake, is that it doesn't matter if it's a 3-man front, 4-man front, 5-man front. He could fit into any kind of scheme. And that's what you really want when it comes to a defensive, lineman.
Yes, and not only that, too, but he's got some great lineage coming from him as well and some great coaching coming down from his dad, Steven, who graduated and played college football at Sam Houston State.
Okay.
So we got a little bit of connection there in class of 1997 out of Sam Houston. So it speaks a lot of volumes, too, of a lot of these guys, they know what it takes on the work ethic side of it. They had that ingrained in them since they were young kids, but now with the Protection United partnership, they're able to elevate themselves to a further platform where now Kingston, not only is he going to be doing some solid work on the field, but now he's going to get some hype and some more
look at that block.
Lights brought to him off of the field.
Yeah, I love it. Sorry to cut you off, but that was a great
absolutely,
block,
man.
And that's the other thing, too. A lot of people poo-poo on special teams, but that's something that can get you not only paid in college, but can get you paid in the pros, too. Like, special teams are so critical. It's a young man that we used to represent, here that didn't understand the true concept of there's nothing wrong with being a true freshman and starting on special teams, right? That's such a critical part of the game. Let's just say that Kingston is not above that. Of course, everybody wants to be a part of that top 22, right? He wants to be a part of that 11 defensively. But the fact that he's willing to do whatever it takes for his team to win, and that's a prime example of that, because how many top tier guys do you see on punt, right? Except for they're the punt returner, right? Where they can get the ball in their hands. But for him to be on punt, to be on, punt return, like, this shows that this young man is willing to do anything and everything. And also, too, Jake, let's be real. How many D linemen do you see that is on a punt return and going in? You don't, because typically they don't have the speed to be on there. So once again, Kingston is showing that it doesn't matter, what position they need him to play. And the other thing I love about him, too, with his frame is that not only does he carry that weight very well, but he also still has that top end speed with it. He has shown the strength. He shows that he can shuck blocks. And then when he gets all blocks, how aggressive he can be at attacking the quarterback and the running back, and even sometimes receivers in the screen game.
Yes, and he was able to show off a lot of that too, as private schools, they move into a different bracket inside of the TAPS, TAPPS bracket that they had. They went out and they got a resounding 58-21 victory in their opening round game. They'll get set to take on rivaling Fort Worth Christian in round 2, where should things go right, Jay, and they continue to move deeper and deeper into that playoff bracket, they may take on the Bradfords and Lutheran South Academy in the eventual state championship for that. So we'll be keeping eyes on you, Kingston. We'll be very looking forward to your developments as we move farther into the playoff season.
Yeah,
Playoffs, Jay. And with these guys joining the Protect You crew as well, they've already started to see a little bit of the traction of it, of what it takes to be a member of the Protect You crew. Obviously, some deeply involved group chats involving not only the clients and the people here at Protection United, but we like to keep the families up to speed as well to make sure everybody knows what's going on at any given moment. And part of that involves the making of graphics, the making of specific posts for breaking news moments. You saw it earlier there with Marco Beltran announcing his final commitment to New Mexico. And Jay, we have a couple of further examples here of some breaking news guys that had some things go down over the weekend in a very positive manner in terms of opening recruitment, making changes in their recruitment, as well as guys making their announcements for some of their final destinations in the Division I collegiate ranks. And we'll start off here, Jay, with Josiah Vilmel, who finally narrowed down to his top 8 programs. And Jay, just looking at those logos, there's some big dogs in contention for Josiah's employment.
Yes, no, I'm telling you right now, Josiah Vilmel is one of, if not the most solid DB in the nation right now, of the ones that have not been, committed. And computers, if you could put that back up, because I want to go through those schools that we have. But I mean, he has been just killing it in the recruiting world. You want to talk about an all-time bidding war, right? And I know we got another young man on here that we'll talk about that is also a king of the bidding wars. But I mean, but you see Texas right on there, right? He just picked that up last week. Then you show Maryland, Kansas State, Iowa, right? Which Iowa, is, let me go back. Maryland, right? You got Under Armour, right? Just kind of throwing out. We know what your Longhorns bring to the table from the financial side. Kansas State, right? Very impressed with them. Love my guys over at Kansas State. Iowa, right? You talk about the historic coaches that have been there for 27 years that have also helped him. Then, of course, Cal, right, coming into play, right? We know Tech Money World's out there. Baylor, another university, like you mentioned earlier, Jake. Of course, Arizona State, right? Another one, right? You got Coach Dillingham, which is one of the hottest coaches in America right now on a lot of short lists. And I think Arizona State's about to lock him up. And last but not least, right? I mean, you got the Arizona Wildcats, right? So Josiah, right, putting that top 8. And that one post that we helped him get out has already reached over 65,000 views, Jake. He put this out like 3 days ago. Started at 65K.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, everybody wants, and he's getting love from all the fan bases on his post on Twitter. So awesome. Very happy for him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're excited to see where that final destination will end up being for Josiah. Obviously, those talks go a lot deeper than just the superficial. I like this team because their jerseys are cool.
Right.
Or I like them because they got the right fit for me.
Right.
There's a lot that goes into that. The financial side of it, obviously, but then there's also the scheme fit. Do they run
100%.
a type of defense that I want to be a part of? Are the coaches as involved as I want them to be?
Yeah.
And now we move over to...
Well, real quick, let me jump back on that because you hit something and I just want to clear it up.
Absolutely.
Like, the scales are always even here, a little 6'7", but these are scales, not 6'7". But yes, the financial part is important, but then also being able to play, right? Getting an opportunity to play early, or if not, at least having the game plan presented so they understand the pathway. So even they are asked to redshirt as a true freshman, or just asked to be on the 2 deep and be a part of special teams, knowing that their sophomore year, they got opportunity, right, to play. And that's what we're here, about, as well as Protection United. Everything's not just transactional here with us. We want our guys to make the best decisions, because there are opportunities that we've seen some of our guys, right, which now I think will be a good time to lead to our next point in regards to everything is not going to be about just chasing the dollar. It's going to be about what we want for best fit. And sometimes that best fit is not what you originally committed to. And now we kind of do move over to, Davis Kinney's announcing about him decommitting from University of Northwestern.
Yes, because too, there's also the unglamorous side of it, right? The part of the recruiting process that a lot of people don't want to talk about. But like you said, Jay, there's more to the commitment process and even the decommitment process than just what the financial side of it is, right? Of trying to find the right home, because these are more than just programs that these guys are going to be playing for. These are cultures that they're going to have to ingrain themselves in. These are families that they're going to have to be a part of, and brotherhoods that they're going to have to shape with their own teammates. So Davis making his decision here to decommit from Northwestern doesn't necessarily come from a place of pure malice or pure greed.
Right.
There's a lot more that goes into that decision process than just, I don't want to be a part of that anymore.
Right.
There's more that goes on behind the scenes in that process.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. I mean, because if it was greed, then, without giving two details away, like, there would be no need to decommit. Northwestern's in the Big Ten. They got money like the SEC. So they got those big boy national TV contracts. Right? They're not having to play at 10:30 at night on the CW, right? They're on CBS, right? They're on ESPN, right? They're on Fox. They got, contracts for 3 of the biggest networks. So it's not about that. It was about a fit. And like you mentioned, Jake, he's got to be the one putting in the 12 to 14 hours in the lab every day. And, hey, you got to be a different kind of cat to want to go, to Chicago and play in that and do all the things, right? It wasn't like MJ when you're inside 24/7. So, and I'm not saying that the weather was the issue. I'm just making a joke there. But at the end of the day, it is about connection. And Davis is going to find that. And I know it because he's another top safety in the nation that now he's made this announcement. Let's just say that the phones are blowing up again.
Yes.
We're starting all over.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it's important, too, to emphasize the respect that the Kinney family and that we had here as well for Northwestern for being a part of this process, right? Of being even in that initial negotiation process of when we took over things for Davis, of willing to take on, hey, somebody else is a part of the agreement now. Right. Somebody else is a part of that negotiating process. And so we appreciate Northwestern for everything that they've done, both in making sure that Davis felt accustomed there, but then also for being respectful when the reins were taken off.
No, and big shout out to my guy Christian Sarkeesian, the brother of Steve, right? Your favorite football coach, but Christian, the general manager at Northwestern, he's been great through this whole process. I built a good relationship with him, and I continue to want to build on that and to help Northwestern, right? In regards just because of Christian, because he is a stand-up guy, straightforward, always picks up the phone when I've called him. And so, obviously, and wish nothing but the best, right, for Northwestern.
Yes, we are very happy to have been a part of that journey. And another journey that we're happy to have seen the conclusion of.
Yeah.
Another guy that came on was already committed one place, but then due to changes out of his control, right? Changes that we've experienced a lot of during this college football season of coaches being let go, changes of coaches being hired to other places. We're obviously talking about Arkansas and the situation that went on with Sam Pittman, where he was relieved of his duties at the University of Arkansas. And that left a lot of guys sort of flying away in the wind. Yep. And one of them was our guy, CJ Jackson, who ultimately had to fall down to that decommitment process came. And then the door opened back up, and it fell down to the two teams of West Virginia and Kansas State.
Yeah, and with this, once he committed, to us first, right? With Texas United, wanted to sign up. Parents are great, by the way. Like, you want to talk about two great parents. I cannot express enough of how great his mom and dad have been through this whole process and the support that CJ gets. And let's just say that a lot of universities recognize that. Hence why his negotiations for being a four-star, defensive lineman, Jake, have been amazing. And I just love the fact that with CJ, we're looking at a young man that came to us, had a ton of offers, and we had to kind of help him get down to that final two. He wanted to go ahead and get things committed and rolling, and then get down to West Virginia and Kansas State. Once again, two great universities. Both general managers are awesome. Clint Brown being at Kansas State, Chuck Little, the GM being at West Virginia. I built great relationship with both of those men, and it was tough, right? It was tough. Even the Jacksons were asking me, and I'm like, man, you really can't go wrong with either one. It's almost like now you got to bring out your petty list, Jake, and that petty list means now I got to be real picky and start looking at things that shouldn't be on a normal list because I got to do a process of elimination. And then with that being said, right, he made the announcement on November 15th. And Computer Jesus, you can put that up now. We can kind of show where he committed, and that was to Kansas State University.
Yes, we are very excited to have been a part of that. Obviously, CJ or Carnell as a full government name, but as CJ has been a part of this process. He's been very excited, been very involved, not just with obviously Kansas State, but obviously involved with you.
Right.
Our executive assistant, Madison, has been a huge part in setting up those regular calls, right? Where we try and emphasize too that this recruiting process is an ongoing type of thing.
Right.
There's never a clean, hey, we're starting your window here and we're
Right.
closing it here.
Right.
There's always those check-in processes of making sure that, hey, where's your mindset at? Is everything all right? Has somebody said something on this side that attracted you that you think you want to be a part of now? Or have there been things that were said against you that you think we want to try and distance ourselves from this program? There will always be constant check-ins to make sure that not only is everyone on the same page, but the message is very clear throughout all of the stages of if it needs to be a decommitment, the message is clear and here's how we're going to present it. If the message is going to be a commitment, here's how we're going to go about it and here's how we're going to make sure that we're not hurting anybody's feelings when one school is chosen over the other.
Right. No, exactly, Jake. And that's a great point, man. And, before we close out the show, I know we got 4 minutes, so we're going to stay on point here. But what I would like to do on this last topic, I know we normally end on fun stuff, but I would like to end it on the big other news announcement, right, Jake? And that was the fact that what November 15th stands for.
Yes.
Right? I'm going to consider that a national holiday for Protection United going forward, right? And that is when the NIL contracts can be released.
Yep.
You get a lot of lip service, Jake. A lot. We got a young man that left us and he's about to come back. Dad, I know you're watching. We talked, me and D-Lag are with it. Can't wait to welcome my guy back home and keep things rolling, right? But you get a lot of lip service, right? You get a lot of people throwing out numbers and say, oh, this and that, and we're going to pay you this, and we're going to do this, and all this crap. That don't mean nothing, Jake, until the attorneys get involved.
Yes.
November 15th, right? Saturday morning, Jake. Yeah, I intentionally flew out to the state of Washington on Friday because I wanted to be set up in my hotel room and wake up to emails full of NIL contracts for our 2026 class to ensure that everything that these college coaches, everything these general managers were saying came to fruition in writing. And I spent 4 hours reading through contracts, right? It was fun. It was fun. Like getting to read through everything, right? Obviously, got our sports attorney involved to read through the legal stuff because I'm just the numbers guy and I wanted to make sure that the numbers were right and that what we agreed on was right and that it was going to be paid when they said it was going to be paid. And it was just kind of cool, Jake, to kind of get those full contracts, right? And get everything, sent in, kind of cross-checking between the contract and our internal, right? Tracking system that we have, our account management, system that we use here in-house and ensuring everything for our guys. And, now we're going to be doing late night Zooms tonight as well as tomorrow night with, our clients that we represent, reviewing the contracts, showing them what we're going to be offering changes for, right? And then we got the meeting set up with the general managers and their attorney team and the Zoom with me and our sports attorney, right? To kind of sit back, go through all the red lines and kind of, let's just say, dot all the I's and cross all those final T's.
Yes, because that cannot be emphasized enough of just the changes that everything has gone through the NCAA of making sure that things are ironed out now, making sure that things are a little bit more button and tie than the Wild West of what it used to be.
No, exactly. And that's how we roll here at Protection United too. So all the ones that are watching the show, which by the way, we appreciate all the support that we've been receiving thus far here on the Protect You podcast. But we ensure that all of our guys, they sign that NIL contract before they sign that national letter of intent, right? And that's what we're about here. True protection of our guys that we represent here. So fun times, Jake.
Yes.
Fun times. This is like our Super Bowl. This is where we really earn our keep here in this industry, right? That we have, I would say, completely thrown ourselves in. So I'm excited for it. And as we continue to grow this thing, right, we'll continue to give you guys updates here on the Protect You podcast.
No doubt on that, Jay. I love seeing the further updates that you guys are making to those spreadsheets. It just keeps getting, I think you've hit just about every color possible in the rainbow for all of our clients. So making sure every college gets their own color.
Yeah.
Everybody gets something different.
You got to have a way to keep up with it.
Absolutely, absolutely. But it's very fun to watch and fun to be a part of this process because things used to be a lot different, but we're working in an age where things are prim and proper, and especially here at Protection United. But I think that does it, Jay, for this episode. We're hitting that clean hour. We've been working well on that time, but we're excited to have been a part of this. We've been very excited to not only announce and bring on new members of the Protect You crew, but to more importantly, give the updates for those of y'all that have stuck around with us, because that loyalty does mean the absolute most to us, not only on the client side of it, but also on the audience side of it too. Exactly. We appreciate each and every one of y'all checking in and watching, not just here on YouTube, but also on Facebook and Twitter, or I guess now X, formerly known as Twitter, as we say around here. But it truly does mean the most to have each and every one of y'all coming in here to support the episodes weekly. If you missed it, be sure to watch on demand here on the YouTube channel. We're inching ever so closely to 200 subscribers, so it does mean the most to have y'all support. But that does it for this episode here of the Protect You podcast. Jake Wilson, as always, alongside the man, Jay Mickens. Justin Woods was our producer. We hope to catch you all on the next one, and we'll see you around.